Hi everyone, my name is Bill Coons, and I'd like to read a poem that I wrote back in 1984 entitled A Halloween Visit from the Count. It was Halloween night in our modest abode, where I had armed our alarm with its security code, and garlic was hung on the doors in fear, in hopes that Count Dracula wouldn't come near. The children had retired to their cluttered rooms, while dreaming of witches on flying brooms, and I, with my cross, and my wife in her fright, had just fallen asleep on this long, scary night. Then abruptly I was awakened by a very strange sound, which beckoned me to see what might be found. I then slipped out of bed and quietly left our room, so my wife wouldn't know of an impending doom, and I silently descended a long staircase to a large dark den to locate my mace. As I peered through the window with shutters and bars, my eyes saw nothing but the moon and the stars, and the moon's reflection off the frost on our boat made ghostly apparitions that appeared to float. Then, all of a sudden, I saw through the slats a large flying coffin drawn by huge black bats, and I saw no driver as my fear began to mount, for I was sure it was the dreaded Count. Their eerie appearance was an awesome sight, and they turned toward me in the dead of night. I then heard a sinister voice speak out, "From Transylvania I have chosen this route." And with a monstrous power that only he possessed, he turned his bats quietly toward his quest. And up to the housetop they quickly flew, with a coffin full of terror, and its master too. And then I heard through an open window grid the terrible creaking sound of his coffin lid. And as I left the window and was turning around, under the door came a mist without a sound. This mist slowly changed to a large dark man, and the odor was that of an unearthly land. He was dressed in a cloak from his head to his feet, and was surely not one I cared to meet. His hypnotic eyes were piercing as he looked upon me. His cheeks were quite pale, his stature like a tree, and his oversized mouth was drawn up like a bow, while exposing his sharp teeth that were as white as snow. A sinister grin and a twinkle in his eye was certainly an indication that I may possibly die. He spoke not a word as he moved toward me, so I maced his face in hopes he would flee. Having failed, I remembered an old superstition, so I raised my cross in sheer desperation. He then lifted his black cloak to cover his eyes, and quickly retreated with agonizing sighs, and he instantly changed into a thick, eerie mist, as I held my hand high with a triumphant clenched fist. I then heard on the rooftop his coffin lid close, and the flapping wings of his bats as they rose, and I heard him say as he disappeared from my sight, "Happy Halloween, for you've been lucky tonight." I wanted to tell my kids and my dearest wife, but they would think I was crazy for the rest of my life. So for this night, it's my story, but that's all right, for I know it could be yours some Halloween night. Thank you.